What's up, peeps? So, you ever wonder what is it that makes me special? Or do I have anything that makes me stand out amongst other people? Or am I just like everyone else? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you some guidance on discovering what we call your unique ability. Oh, I got YouTube going in the background. One sec. Gotta turn this off. Where's that coming from? Yeah, buddy. Ha, figure it all out. We'll figure it out. Anyway, so I'm going to give you some guidance on that. Well, the Bible tells us that we're fearfully and wonderfully made. So, of course, we got to see what does that mean? I like to say that we're weirdfully and wonderfully made, meaning that we have some unique things, some things that we see as quirky or different or whatever it may be. But these are things that God is showing us that they're things that we do different or better than other folks. And the problem is that because it's so close to us, in many ways, we've done it for so long that we don't see the value in it. Okay. So when it comes down to, you look at similar philosophies of like strength finders or, building on your strength itself. Because when I first started coaching myself and others, I had a philosophy of determine your weaknesses and then eliminate them. That works. It does help when you find out what things you're not good at and then eliminate those. So, of course, in athletics and sports performance, it's very important to find out, okay, these are areas that other opponents will expose or will take advantage of if I don't get better at it. And so we want to not be extremely weak in these areas. But what I found is that works even better is really focusing on our strengths and get extremely good at our strengths, the things that we uniquely just great at or we put more time into. And you think about Dennis Rodman, who was one of the NBA greats. He's been known to be a great defender, but mostly the best rebounder of all time, best rebounder in basketball of all time. He had a unique ability that he could score, but that wasn't his role. He knew his role and wanted to be the best at it. He would look at the way the ball's bouncing and things like this. He paid attention to physics and geometry to get really good at the game. So he put more time into those particular things. So for me, I was the smallest kid on a basketball court, a football field, whatever it was, the smallest guy in my school. And so for me, I knew I wasn't going to be at 4'7", 82 pounds as a freshman. I wasn't going to be the rebound leader or the shot blocker of any particular team. But I know you can't get lower than me. So what does that mean? I focused on being the best at stealing the basketball. And even with football, I was good at getting lower, because you're not going to get lower than me. That's just what it is. But mostly in basketball, what I noticed, I paid attention. I had eye-to-hand coordination. So I learned how to juggle. I was really good at testing those particular skills itself, and those transferred over to my ability to have quick hands. I'll be able to anticipate particular areas of another athlete or being able to steal a basketball a lot better. And I've always led in steals in the teams that I played on. So when I look at that, sometimes you look at your circumstances, your situations, or just the way you're built, what you've been exposed to that allows you to move in that particular area that says that this is what I'm good at. But I transferred it over into life and in business. There are certain things that you just have to realize that I'm good at and not good at. And so I can either really focus in on getting good at things I'm not good at, or I can hire, or I can delegate into some form of fashion to other individuals or to technology or to some system, because I'm just not good at that. I'm a visionary. I see things, but I'm not really good at the operation side of things. This is why I always need help. And I get assistance like my admin overload of operations, Michelle. She does that. She has a brain that looks at the operations and puts things in place. So I always would need that if it comes down to, like we talk about in the body of Christ, one body, many parts. I see ideas. I see thoughts. I see the vision of the thing more so than let's do this, step 1, step 2, step 3. Now I can do those things, but other people are more gifted to make those things happen. So it's important in your leadership skills, and it's important in any organization that you're a part of to recognize that, these are things that I'm really good at, I'm gifted at. Okay, I have unique ability. That's what Dan Sullivan, a strategic coach, he actually coined the term unique ability. And that comes from, I got a definition for you right here. Boom. Let's see. Unique ability is the combination of the things that you're really good at and also have superior passion for it. And if you want to add another one in, you probably can get paid for it. You probably can get compensated for it. God is probably calling you to be impactful and influential in that specific area itself. And so sometimes we get caught in our ego, especially as men. We will hold on to the egos, or I could do everything, I could do anything. Some things you're not supposed to do. There's things that you're passionate about, things that you acquire that may be a little different from other folks. It's that weirdness. When you embrace that weirdness that we have, that sets us apart, that makes us different. Those are the things that we want to be able to embrace. What is it that's different about who I am, how I roll, how I interact with individuals in those particular situations itself? So I'm gonna give you a few things to kind of look at. There's some things you can kind of pay attention to that shows where my strong suits. What are the things that I'm really good at that other folks can learn from, and I can monetize it. I could be impactful, influential in an organization, because certain positions I'm going to thrive at and certain positions I'm going to struggle. Certain places and assignments is just not going to be the best for me, because that's not the way I'm wired. So there's certain wiring that each one of us has that we're good at. I look at different professions. There's certain things that I look at a musician who can play an instrument and sing at the same time. To me, that blows my mind. That blows my mind. Like somebody is sitting there playing a piano or a guitar and they're singing at the same time. It's kind of one of those things of doing this. For me, that's just like that's crazy. But to them, it's what they do. It's what they've done since they're a little kid, or something they've done for many years. They have the reps to be, excellent at that particular thing. I look at professions that I just don't have a heart for. I look at people who hospice care. They love the fact of helping people on their final days, minutes of life. There's a certain heart call, a passion that they have that other people just don't have. Orderly, to care for folks. They're changing diapers and cleaning people. If I had to do it, I had to do it. So obviously for loved ones, but that's not a profession I'm called to. So certain things that people have just a unique love and yearning for. I've got kids. I'm not really good at working with little kids. It's okay. All right. That's just not my thing. All right. I'm old school, especially working with kids. If they're disrespectful, I want to throat punch kids, and you're not allowed to throat punch kids. They just kind of frown upon those things. But the lack of respect that this generation has would make it hard for me to be in that kind of profession. So consider those things that you gravitate towards. There's certain things that you look at and you just happen to do it. And so one way to look at it is, what is something that you don't just do in business, you do it everywhere. It's part of your identity to be that kind of person. So for me, I can't help but to have coaching conversations. It's in me. I've been a coach, a mentor, a teacher in my entire life. I look back at it. This is something I just can't help to do. Now, obviously, just don't run around giving people advice and stuff. I ask for permission if I'm having a conversation. I'm asking permission to coach. May I coach? And ask permission for those particular situations. But I see, it's kind of, sometimes it feels like it's the Matrix. I can see the things that they're not seeing. I'm hearing things that's coming out of their mouth that they're only seeing at this level, and I can see it at this level. I can see the future of it. I can see the seed of it that's planted within, and that God has placed this thing in them. And my goal is to get their talents, their goals, their callings, their unique abilities out of them, and be able to put that out forward so they can be more impactful, have more income, have more influence, all those particular things that they desire, if they desire. But I help extrapolate that and pull that out of them as a mentor and a coach, as a consultant as well. So those are the things that I just can't help but to do. What about you? Can you not sing wherever you go? Can you not just look at kids and just have a heart for them? Do you look at folks and go out of your way to help a particular demographic or psychographic of people? Is it certain things that you do naturally that you can't help but to do, that you have a heart for? Maybe the homeless, it may be the orphans and widows, as we talk about biblically. For me, I've been drawing from men to be strong and courageous in their calling, to have their roar, their lion's roar come from without, and not settle for a complacent life, a mediocre life. God has called them to greatness and to mastery, self-mastery. That's something I can't help but to do. And that's my leaning. That's the yearning that's inside my soul. So what about you? Are there certain things that you just recognize that you can't help but to do? It just naturally, you may have a motherly instinct if you're a woman, and maybe something that you do there too as well. These things that you do, they shine in every opportunity. Like you just step into that role. You automatically just pop into the role and you do it like with no, the things that just, I love competition. I love to step into competition. For you, it may be, I love critical thinking. I love to be a prayer warrior. I love to stand in the gap, whatever it may be, but you're looking for those particular situations that come up. Okay. It's what you bring to the table. So if we have different assignments, if we have a group project, there may be certain things that you're going to do, but because you see, and this is my lane. Oh, let me do this. Let me call these people. Let me set this up. Let me call the venue. That might be something that you're really good at. Somebody else may be like, I have these connections. Brian Grasso, one of my former coaches and mentors, would say being a nexus. We call it being a nexus, a connector. You may have some good social equity to make connections to get a job or task done. So pay attention to that itself. Some of these things are just factory installed. Okay, it's your default mechanism is to do that thing. It's to do it in a certain way. Creativity. If you're an artist, one of my buddies, Byron Johnson, went to school with him since elementary school, and I could just remember his ability to draw. It was just so superb, and he's one of the best artists I've seen ever. And I can remember just his ability to draw. And if we had done our work, I'll take my desk and lean in my desk and just lay my head down and watch him draw. It was the most cathartic and relaxing and comforting thing to watch him in his artistry. Just be doing something simple with pencil or color pencils or whatever it was, but he'll make this masterpiece. And I don't have skills in artistry at all, so I would marvel at what he's doing. But for him, it's just what I do. I just draw. So obviously, you can get paid really well to be a creative, to be an artist, and all those things. You can monetize that. You can teach others how to paint or draw or whatever it may be. But it's stuff that you've been doing since you're a kid. And I look back, I've always been a teacher. I've always been a leader, and I step in those particular roles. There's situations where it's been confirmed by teachers or mentors that this is a gift. Even in college, when I was an undergrad, when I was a senior, I was a teaching assistant for the junior class. That was one of the classes some of the credits that I took. And I can remember the instructor, the professors teaching a topic, and everyone kind of had that deer in headlights look. And I heard it, but I heard it differently. And I said, may I try to explain it? And I went through and I explained the situation, explained the assignment or the lesson that she taught. And I explained it, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay. Well, why you didn't just explain it like that?" And it was confirmation of my ability to be a teacher and to take complex concepts and then simplifying it. Same way I do with God's word. I'm really good at taking it and making it practical. I call myself a practical preacher. Taking it because that's what Jesus did. He taught with examples. He taught in parables. He taught in ways that people understood. He taught with agriculture. He taught with blacksmithing. He taught with labor. He taught in fishing and these different things. Those were concepts that the people of the day were able to understand. So he simplified it for them, and that's something I've had a knack of doing. What about you? Have you noticed that you've always been a certain way since you're a kid? You've always got compliments about it, or sometimes the thing that you're called to do, you got in trouble because your gift was too big for that environment. There are times when your gift is too big for a particular environment itself. I've had that happen to me several situations where no one gets it. Nobody sees it. You might be such a big visionary or believe so much bigger than everyone else. You have ideas that other folks are thinking too small, and that may not be a place that's conducive of your growth and your learning, but also they don't realize and honor your gift. So you have to also make sure that you're in places that honor your unique ability, that weirdness, that quirky thing that seems a little off, but it's exactly what God is calling you to work through and to serve through and to lead through those particular things itself. Okay. So it's something you've always done, something you've always been a part of you, or whatever it is. Here's one of the the dangers of your unique ability or your special talent or your calling, your specific things that you do well, is that because it comes so easy to you, you don't value it to the same way. So for instance, if you're you're just naturally, you give great advice in your church, and you're always giving great advice, and because it's just natural what you do. People come to you for wisdom and wise counsel, and you just give it. It comes natural to you because of your life experiences. Maybe your professional growth and your education may also advance that. Like all the books and things that I have around here and at home, my audio books. I mean, I've got probably almost 300 books on there. So that library of growth and personal development and self-mastery is part of what I do. A lot about psychology, a lot about human performance. Those things are part of what I do. And so if you look at it, sometimes because you're doing it so naturally, you may be a great chef and you just cook all day long and like, oh, everybody loves your food. They tell everybody about the food, but you never thought that you could open a restaurant or you can teach people how to cook. You can give lessons and create a business or a ministry or something from that particular gift. So that's why you can't see the label from inside of the jar. It takes a good mentor, a good coach or counselor, somebody that can look from the outside of where you are. You're inside the jar. You can't see the label because it's from the outside. They can see from the outside and help you decipher and extrapolate the things that you need to hear or know or understand. They may see the gift, okay, and they want to pull that gift out because the Bible says a man's gift will make room for you. A man's gift will make room for him and will bring him before great men. But if you're holding it and you're hiding it under a bush, you're hiding under a lampshade, it's not being put out to the world. That's part of your purpose and your calling is to give that thing. But because it comes so easy, you don't value it sometimes. And somebody has to come in there and show you like, no, you can do this on a larger scale. You can do this on a bigger scale. But we have to learn how to value those gifts. And sometimes it takes somebody from the outside to do that. Other people, so you may have a profession that you're working in that specific gift. But some people, you might be an accountant, but everyone comes to you for your food. Let's just stay with their lane. They love your pies. Your pies are just so crazy. Okay, what is about that? But they count on you. They count on you to show up for wise counsel. People call you all the time for advice. They call you when it comes down to parenting advice because you may have been really good at being an awesome father or an awesome mother, a good parent. They see that in the way that you've raised your kids, and people come to you. Like it might be something to that. You might be called to do a blog or write a book, start a course, teach somebody in your community, do some workshops to help parenting because not everybody figures it out. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of it where you have to recognize is that people come to you on a regular basis, and it may be tied to your occupation, but it may not. It may not be tied to what you do on a regular basis for your work itself. So pay attention to those things because people are looking for you at this. And last tip is pay attention to the things that you're drawn to learn more of. I love to learn in person. I love to learn from other individuals because one of the things is having a good coach or mentor. They collapse time. They help you not go through the issues that a lot of people have to go through or they have gone through. My dad and I were talking the other day about this, how his friends are the same as my friends, is the same as my kids' friends. Every neighborhood or crew of people or whatever it is has that older guy that's usually hanging out with the younger guys. And you're like, he's so cool because he's older and why is he hanging with us? But because he typically got rejected from the people, his peers. He didn't see that at the time. He was just a cool older kid that wanted to hang out with us. Every crew or every neighborhood has a thief, has a somebody who's going to break stuff. Everyone has that fast chick. Same ones, the same that has that klepto that that's gonna steal. So if you go to the mall with him, there's a good chance you might go to jail because he's gonna steal something. So everybody had those same people. Okay, you're going through the same thing. So for instance, when your dad or your parents are warning you about these people, they know because they've been burnt by them same people. They're just at a different time span. They're just in your lifestyle, your lifetime. But these same folks and individuals they're the same characters, different movie at a different time. So a good mentor can look back and say, been there, done that. I see where you're at. I see where you're going. And you may just have a yearning to learn more about certain things that draw you. I'm drawn to learning more about coaching, learning more about the psychology, learning more about business systems and things of that sort. I'm drawn to it. I'll prefer that most of the time from doing a lot of other things like watching TV, watching sports and different things like that. I prefer to learn. I love to learn. So now you just happen to recognize that there's a draw to these particular things that's uniquely yours. Sometimes the uniqueness, I want you to catch this. Sometimes the uniqueness is not necessarily because this thing here is weird, but it might be the combination of 2 or 3 different elements that come together that no one's done together. You know, you think about peanut butter jelly. Who thought about putting peanut butter and jelly together? It just seems like it shouldn't have gone together, you know? But chicken and waffles. I mean, I don't know why I'm thinking food. I must be hungry. I must be hungry. So I'm thinking about that. But there's certain ways that you may do ice skating with such and such. Or what's that painted palette they do where they drink wine and they paint? Somebody put 2 things together that just doesn't seem to be a normal, a normal thing, but they combine them and it's unique. It's going to speak to the demographic. I like to paint and I like wine. Why not combine those 2? So you may find is that in your pursuit that there may be a niche in the market that has been untapped yet because you bring something different to the table, whether it's the combination of several things that you're thinking about, or is it something that's brand new concept, or you take an old concept and do one tweak to fit a specific individual, a specific avatar, or dream client itself. So consider those particular things itself is that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. As I say, you are wonderfully and wonderfully made. It's okay to stand out. It's okay to be different. That doesn't mean that you got to be loud and boisterous. I'm just loud and boisterous. That's just who I am. So you can be quiet. But the way you do it is step into that greatness, step into that purpose, that calling itself, your uniqueness. No one's had your parents. No one's had your parents, your life experiences, your siblings in the manner in which you did, where you live, how you move, all those things. Nobody was in that class. Nobody has that skin on the knee just like you. If you combine all those things, you are an individual that is different. You are unique. You are different. And it's something about the combination of those things that if you bring it to the forefront, maybe journal about it, maybe have some conversation with somebody about it and extrapolate what makes this special and how can I do something about it to be more impactful for the kingdom of God, for my neighborhood, for my family, for my legacy. So hopefully this is good for you guys. Normally do this on Wednesdays, but I was out of town and I wanted to get this in because about 2 years or so, I have not missed once a week. I want to make sure I get this in to you guys. So hopefully if you have not, like, subscribe, share, do all the YouTube things on there. Follow, notification bell, do all those kind of things. And as we continue to grow this channel. So love you guys. God bless. Go hard. Peace.